And welcome back to Let's Play Sonic 06. Last time we went through Kingdom Valley, which was pretty much the same outcome as Sonic's. This time we're in Flame Core, which is Silver's last stage, and the last regular stage of this Let's Play. Unless you count the last stage, which is the last stage of the Let's Play technically, but it's kind of a weird hybrid special stage thingy, so whether you consider that really a true stage is up to your interpretation. Now this part kind of stinks. This part kind of stinks. So I'm kind of mentally preparing myself. You have to do this and quickly hop across, or else you won't be able to get up to this one and be able to get the silver medal. So this one is actually time sensitive. It's always fun. Now one problem I have with that last cutscene was that where does Blaze come from? It's because she's not in the scene with Sonic earlier, and yet suddenly she's there, and there's no acknowledgement that Blaze knows who Sonic is and vice versa, which I find really like a giant oversight, though to be fair, this game is a giant oversight. In all honesty, the whole game kind of is. Yeah, if it feels like I'm kind of like bipolar towards this game, it's because that's just how I am towards this game. It's like parts of it feel good and promising and cool, and other parts of it are just really not good. Also, once you defeat all the medals, do not hit spring. Collect that medal first.
Get out of my way.
This is pretty much Sonic's, and this is pretty much everyone's Flame Core, by the way. Everyone pretty much goes through the same Flame Core, to my knowledge. Which is a little bit lame. Also, I don't know why Silver also has those little tick marks near his power gauge, like Shadow does. Like Shadow has them because of Chaos, whatever that Chaos move is, where you can charge it to level 3, and do things like more powerful Chaos Blast, Chaos Spear, etc. I'm not sure why Silver has 3 little marks like that too, because Silver can't do like a 3rd level charge for anything. So that's a little bit weird. You don't actually need this. It makes it easier to like hit the enemies, but you don't have to defeat the enemies. So it's really useless actually. So, by the way, we're actually keeping an eye out for a hint ring, believe it or not. I think it's the hint ring after this next section. By the way, this level is actually easier to me than Kingdom Valley. This only took me like 2 or 3 tries, I want to say, to actually 100%. As opposed to Kingdom Valley, which took like 4 or 5 times. And it's a 15 to 18 minute stage, so do the math, it wasn't a fun time. I screwed this up, I think. Maybe, maybe not. I think you can actually bypass some of that. I think you can actually hurry up, and if you do that, you actually get to these platforms a lot sooner. Yeah, this one, I think I messed up. Yeah, I messed that one up. So, I'm not quite sure what the backup strat is for a path, unfortunately. I know I really pushed my luck there, but the reason was because I wasn't really feeling it in terms of that enemy. I had a feeling that enemy would actually hurt me if I hung around too long, so I kind of rushed more so than I would normally. Yeah, one thing I've actually thought about is Sonic Generations and their level choices. Does anyone think it would have been preferable to have switched around a lot of the later stages? I feel like the stages for the first like section of the game, of There's the Next Medal, the first section of the game are super solid. You got Green Hill, which of course, what else? I would have gone for the Marble Zone. Sadly, that's actually the only other zone for Sonic the Hedgehog that I actually know of. I have not played very much Sonic the Hedgehog, so yeah, that's the only one I'm actually aware of. Let's see. 2 Chemical Plant is obvious. Actually, to me, that's super obvious of a choice. So I'm glad that was the actual stage. 3 Sky Sanctuary was really good because of visual variety. But again, I think the 3DS version has Mushroom Hill Zone, which is actually also a really good pick. Really solid choice for Sonic 3 and Knuckles. And it starts getting a little bit dicey. I feel like Speed Highway is kind of an iffy choice. It's a good stage. I just feel like it's not like if you think Sonic Adventure, you think Speed Highway. I just don't think that's the case. Come on. City Escape is obvious, and I'm totally happy with that. The DS version kind of got the short end of the stick though with Shadow's Highway stage. I don't even remember the name of that stage, to be honest. Now here's where my opinion gets a little bit weird. I would have had Wave Ocean from Sonic 06 actually, and instead of having Ocean Palace / Seaside Hill, because it's a hybrid of both, and you can tell from the music that it's supposed to be a hybrid. If the actual aesthetics don't give it away, I would have had not Casinopolis. The Bingo Road level, whatever the name of that one was, Bingo level, / the casino level. That's what I would have done for Sonic Heroes, personally. And you know, in this game, it's like, what would be a good stage choice? Again, Wave Ocean's like the only stage to me that's like remotely tolerable, so I feel like that would be the best choice. Crisis City is actually relatively okay in that game in my opinion, but it's also still incredible. It's just Crisis City, it's not the best level ever. It's just a weak level in my opinion, so even better in Generations, it's still pretty weak. Yeah. There's the next medal. You can actually see it already. This one's a gimme as well, which is kind of nice. Lots of lag because all of those enemies. That's actually it for Silver's medals in this first part, I think. Yeah. We got all the others.
My way, Iblis.
I think this might be a shorter section than for Sonic in terms of actually entering the volcano. Maybe not. I think I'm actually wrong. Never mind. I don't know also if this is common knowledge, but the 3DS version has totally different stages. It actually has levels based on handheld Sonic games. Wow, that camera transition actually screwed me up there, like really badly. Because I was going for the spring, and then the camera jerked around behind me, essentially, to the point where I couldn't really see what I was supposed to be doing, and I'm dead.
Not now.
So yeah, the camera, and this did happen to me when I was playing this level on practice while trying to S-rank it, because I actually S-ranked every stage in practice just to really get a feel for every stage. This level, this one spring killed me so many times because the camera automatically spins around like that. Because you're supposed to hit the other spring first, but sometimes you're just not lined up for it, so the other spring is actually easier to hit, but it doesn't allow for that. It's just the camera has a fit if you try to actually do it any other conventional way that the game does not intend. But hey, we got through the first section at least. By the way, we never played Blaze again. That's what Sonic Rush is for. Sonic Rush Adventure goes back to the parallel dimension universe instead of the whole alternate timeline Earth kind of thing, which I prefer. Because time travel gets a little bit wibbly wobbly, to steal a quote. So yeah, I prefer Blaze being from a parallel universe, alternate dimension, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so apparently we have a ways to go for the first medal. I'm just killing all the enemies just to be on the safe side. Because sometimes stuff will spawn if you defeat all the enemies. And it's kind of weird that you don't play as Blaze at all in this level.
What is that thing?
Concentrate your power on the light, and it will
Okay,
show
this
you the way.
level is honestly not that fun. It's honestly pretty tough. This section of it, I mean. Mostly because you can't really see. That's always kind of a problem if you can't actually see anything. And it's a sunny day when I'm actually trying to record this, so it's actually even darker than normally would be. And yeah, we're only getting purple enemies now because they're the harder variants. But yeah, they're actually plenty easy to take out though. Okay, so that is good. Now, this is the room I was actually thinking of. You have to defeat all the enemies here. Okay, a couple more. Oh, still more. Oh, good shot, Silver. Good shot. Now, where is this metal supposed to? Where is it supposed to spawn? Because if you defeat all the enemies in this room, you oh hi, there's more enemies. There we go. You can actually hear it. That's why I was kind of being silent there, because I was trying to hear if the enemies, after defeating those enemies, if the thing would spawn. Okay, so next metal's in this area, where we need to use these floating platforms. Oh, Generations! That's the one I'm forgetting. To be honest, I am completely down with Rooftop Run as a level and as a soundtrack, so that's like my one classic, or my one modern choice that actually I have no objections to. That and City Escape, because those are unarguably the best levels from those respective games. Hands down, no contest, Rooftop Run is the best. Best music of Generations, and Unleashed, if you ask me. Followed by City Escape, because the remix, I mean, for City, shoot, what's the song? Escape from the City? Is actually really solid. It's a really good remix. Can you tell I'm really wanting to play Generations instead? Because I kind of do. Except I don't really want to Let's Play Generations. Okay, how to put this? I want to Let's Play Generations except for the stupid red rings, which I would get, because I would try to get 100%. I would show basically everything needed to get all the trophies, essentially. Which is insane. Getting all 5 red rings on every level, clearing every side mission, which is actually really tough. So yeah, as much as I love Generations, I admit it would not be a fun Let's Play project to do. Just because it is such a tough game to 100%. Not that this game's a cakewalk either, to be fair, but my problem with Generations is there are a couple red rings where if you miss one slight millisecond jump timing, you have to restart the entire stage. Which is sad, because City Escape is my favorite level in the game as a whole, but the red rings are absolutely terrible in that game. They're absolutely terrible.
It seems like the attacks come in regular intervals.
So just hide. This is the boring part. Wait for the shockwave, then run. By the way, dashing into slopes is a good idea because it kind of shoots you up faster. The camera is awful. On a side note.
I'll have to get closer and use my power directly.
Oh, come on, shockwave. There we go. Yeah, on the whole, Generations is a phenomenal game. It's just the red rings are really, really not fun to get. That's my only complaint, and the only thing stopping me is I'm procrastinating mapping out a route for the red rings. Because I do want to let's play the game. It is on my ETA. I picked up a copy for that very reason, and 100%ed it twice, might I add. Okay, technicality. I didn't 100% twice, because I didn't, like, hard mode, S-rank, everything. What I did was I got all the trophies on PS3, because I originally played it on PS3. And then I actually picked up the 360 version to Let's Play, because my PS3's got shot. And I got all the achievements in that. So this big orb is gonna start crumbling.
Just as I expected.
Which is not fun on the frame rate, by the way. I'm kind of falling slowly for a reason. Metal. That's it. So that was a pretty good run of Flame Core, except for that one death, because I forgot the camera transition is incredibly broken in that one part. But I think if we get the all clear, we would have gotten every silver medal as silver in his stages, and that just leaves
Easy.
town missions and oh shoot, town missions and town silver medals. Now I'm going to save here again, breaking convention, because this level can be kind of spotty for me. Sometimes it goes great, other times it goes terribly. So I'm gonna be on the err on the side of caution, and yeah.
Come on, Iblis. This time I'll finally stop you.
In my opinion, this is, next to Egg Genesis, the hardest S rank for a boss. You have to basically do a perfect cycle every time, while holding on to all your rings, if you want to S rank this from my experience. Because I tried this like 5 to 10 times and got like hit once or twice and lost all my rings, and I had to redo it. So, to me, this is the hardest S rank of a boss next to Egg Genesis. Genesis just takes practice to sort of get the timing down for collecting all the missiles and everything. This boss is like legitimately frustrating in my opinion. By the way, if you don't do this boss fast enough, he actually one-shots you. Fun fact. So keep that in mind.
You'll be in trouble if you let him get close.
Yeah, what she said.
Away from him.
Just chuck everything at him. Oh, hello. Did not expect him to start attacking so soon. Ow. That's bad. See, I think we've already lost the S rank because we can't get like perfect wings. Whoops. And also our time bonus is gonna suck because this is taking a while. I can usually do this a lot faster. Now he starts letting us shockwaves, which alternate heights. Which reminds me a little bit of the Bio Lizard
Waves of flames
from
roll
Sonic
together.
Adventure 2.
You need to predict the next wave and evade it.
Which is actually a cool fight. But also one of those weird things where I remember really hating that fight as a kid. But in hindsight, that fight's really easy. That's actually an LP I've been thinking about redoing, Sonic Adventure 2, because I feel like I got particularly terrible luck in that LP. By the way, we're actually off to an absolutely atrocious start to this fight. I think we should have gotten down to like half health by now, to be honest. Yeah, I think we're like way behind where we should be, which is bad. Does that actually do damage? That does, okay. This reminds me a lot of Yoshi's Island's final boss, except really not as fun. If you're wondering, no, I'm not let's playing Yoshi's Island.
From a distance this time.
Because that game's 100% is really brutal. Especially because I only own the GBA version, and that one's even more brutal. Yeah, the extra stages, There was actually rumor, I remember hearing a rumor a long time ago about the extra stages in Yoshi's Island actually being done by like what would be Artoon, who developed Yoshi's Island DS, and also Yoshi's New Island, which that was technically Arzest because Artoon went under, then Arzest was formed from the remnants of Artoon. So I've heard rumors, and again, I don't know if this is true, that, are we dead? That the extra stages for Yoshi's Island on GBA were actually done by what would become Artoon, which kind of explains why they're, like, not fun.
I will end this now.
I'm pretty sure we missed out on the S rank, because I feel like we have to do this in 3 minutes. I have a vague recollection of it being 3 minutes, but I don't know. If I actually get the S rank, I'll be very impressed, really. Because I could have sworn it was like 3 minutes even, or bust. Yeah, I'm actually very curious to see what this is. It's gonna get like 1,000 from rings, I think. Yeah, see, barely missed it. That wasn't even that awful of a fight, but that's just how tight of a timing window this fight is. This fight took me a lot of tries because I kept missing it by like 10 seconds. It's kind of poorly designed. We kind of have to save now because, well, we cleared story. Don't want to do that fight again.
Chaos Emeralds, lend me your power. Eternal Sun, the living flame that has been entrusted to the royal family. Fall into slumber with my soul, Iblis, you cursed flames of disaster! Ah! Ah! No! Why won't it accept me as the vessel? Blaze!
I'll take Iblis. Don't worry. My soul is already alit with flames. I will be accepted. Come on, make it quick. Use your chaos control to stop time. Then seal us into a different dimension.
No! I can't do that to you!
Didn't we already go through this? We agreed to save the world at any price.
I can't! I wouldn't know what to do without you! You fought alongside me to save the world! You're my friend, right?
You're still so naive. But I've always liked that about you.
Blaze!
Good luck, Silver.
Now you might be thinking to yourself, wait, alternate dimensions, so Sonic Rush makes sense? Actually, no. It doesn't make sense even with this, because after the last story you'll see why, but things changed and mean that this ending doesn't really have an impact on the, I guess you could say, Sonic lore. And Silver's future is still effed up, by the way, because in Sonic Rivals, his plot involves his future being destroyed. I'm pretty sure. To be fair, I didn't really pay attention in Sonic Rivals because I tuned out the story because I was just trying to beat the game. So, I don't know what else to say about Silver's story. Again, I personally think it's the second best, if not the best. It's kind of a toss-up for me because parts of Shadow Story are better, parts of Silver Stories are better. So it's kind of like, both kind of level out to the same level of both pretty not terrible, unlike Sonic's. Unlike Sonic's. Sonic's got like all bad levels. Wave Ocean has the super speed section, which is pretty broken. It's also a really bad introduction to the game, getting thrown into a level that's that badly optimized. What's the second level? Dusty Desert? Dusty Desert's okay, but I've died so many times just forgetting to press RT because of not putting up the shield. Same applies to Tropical Jungle. My Acropolis has the snowboarding. Crisis City has the super speed section now, which is really terrible. Radical Train has a super speed section, which is really terrible. Now I should clarify, terrible from the standpoint of trying to S-rank. If you're just doing it regularly, you get lives so frequently, it's not too big of an issue. Kingdom Valley is, again, probably for Sonic is the worst S-rank in the entire game because you have an entire level that's like 10 to 15 minutes long. And then you have a super speed section where if you screw up once, you lose out on an S rank. Like if you get hit once, you lose all your rings, which pretty much kills your ranking. So yeah, Sonic, well, Aquatic Base for Sonic is actually pretty good, comparatively. Yeah, in general, Sonic has a really bad stages. Shadow, you have White Acropolis. Would be better if you didn't have to blow up the searchlights. What does he have after that? Tropical Jungle with Rouge is one of my favorite levels just because of how silly it is. Shadow's Dusty Desert's okay. Yeah, Shadow's levels are all okay, and Silver's levels are mostly okay. Shadow's levels are okay. There's one. Crisis City. I think Shadow's Crisis City is probably the best. Other than cheap falling debris, of course. Shadow's Kingdom Valley is actually also really terrible because of those pillars that one-shot you. Yeah, so basically Kingdom Valley sucks for everyone. That's the long and short of it. Silver's levels, just the one puzzle in Dusty Desert is really weird and finicky. The one medal in Aquatic Base is really confounding. I do not know how to get that medal without dying. I almost did it, but I still died. Flame Core's pretty good. Well, actually no, not, because of the weird camera weirdness. But yeah, I think if you go back and look at it, I think I had less trouble in this game, Sonic Adventure 2, in terms of dying. Maybe. It's gonna be close, and I don't feel like digging it up. I think I died a comparable amount of times in both games, really. Which is actually kind of sad. But yeah, that just fuels my belief that Sonic 06 is basically a successor to Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. And that they're both, all three games are kind of, they feel kind of similar. And they're all similarly buggy, except in 98, people didn't really care about bugginess as well, or 97. Like, Sonic Adventure, people didn't care, it was a 3D game, that was cool enough for most people. In 2003, it was like, this is kinda dicey. Kinda dicey. And then by 2011, it's like, wow, this is not a good game. And then put it on Steam in like 2014, and it's like, wow, yeah, this isn't good. Okay, that's not fair. I do like Sonic Adventure, to clarify. I do like Sonic Adventure. It's just, people talk about it as the best Sonic game, or that, or Adventure 2, and both games to me are actually really iffy. sometimes I have a great time with both. Sometimes I have a really terrible time with both, and that's not any different than this game. So yeah, I honestly feel like if Sonic the Hedgehog had come out with comparable graphics, of course, but the same level of bugginess as, say, Sonic Adventure 2, if it had followed Heroes and it was just as buggy as Sonic Adventure 2, I think this game would have been like a 7, but coming out like years after Sonic Adventure 2, and after a string of really bad Sonic games, this was just kind of the icing on the cake for bad Sonic games. So people just kind of home in on it, even though it really... People overlook a lot of other bad Sonic games. Whenever you see people talking about it, they always like, 06? Rise of Alaric. And like, there's Shadow the Hedgehog, which I feel like is really not good at all for a variety of reasons. Heroes is pretty okay, but a lot of people didn't like the team-based structure and having to basically repeat the same levels 4 times, which I will fully concede is a problem. All the spin-offs are very iffy except the Rush games. So yeah, I feel like 06 was just a perfect like stamp on a really bad run for Sonic, and that's why people focus on it so much, even though quality-wise, it sadly isn't that much worse than a lot of the ones that are considered classics, and frankly, I'd say it's better than Shadow at least. It's more, at least air quotes, fun in Shadow. Controller was going to sleep. I always forget that that's the thing with current gen games. But hey, we finished Silver Story. That's pretty good time, 13 minutes. So next time we will be taking on the medals for Silver Story. And also the town missions. And probably town missions next, and silver medals after that. So part 35 will start the last story. Like how they make you save twice. Anyway, there's our stats, 90 medals, so there's still 30 medals in the field. Yes, there's this last story, which... oh boy. But yeah, we don't have to worry about this for now, we just have to do this first. And no, I'm not gonna put off the last story, because it's only gonna be 2 videos at most. Probably, I might tank it out and just do it in one, if I feel like it. So yeah, 3 more probably. And again, if I decide to maybe show some of the multiplayer, which is really gonna be fun, trying to show multiplayer and single player. That's all this game really has to offer. Yeah, there's not a whole lot to this game really. Well, yeah, we have 87 medals. I think there are 130 total, just saying. No, that's not right, that's Sonic Adventure. I think it's 180 for this game. I don't quite recall though. Now I'm gonna go over this now, I suppose. If you want to S-rank everything before going into the last story, what you need to do: S-rank all bosses, collect all silver medals, collect all S-ranks, and clear the stages on hard mode and S-rank. Now, that sounds harder than it is. Typically, stages are actually easier on hard mode in some regards. Hard mode advice, don't die, because if you don't die, you typically get high enough scores to actually clear it pretty easily. With the exception being Sonic's, because that's more based around time bonus and ring count. Shadow and Silver just tank through the level. That's my advice for hard mode. It's basically the same level with more enemies, which actually makes it easier in some cases to get high scores. So yeah, that's basically it for this Let's Play, after we finish up the last story and also Silver's medal. So next time we'll continue with Silver's story, taking on his town missions. Thank you for watching, and I hope you join me next time for more Sonic 06.